A potentially deadly blow today to a bill that would ban teaching specific aspects key to critical race theory, something opponents argue minimizes the role of slavery in American history. A procedural tactic sends House Bill 3979 back to the Senate with time running out this session. CBS Austin's Christian Flores takes a closer look at the bill that did pass both chambers and why this has been at the center of heated debate.
I hope we never have to get to a place where we tell teachers what they can and can't talk about.
State Representative Steve Toth says his bill on the state's social studies curriculum does not control what teachers can and cannot teach. But critics say this is exactly what it does by banning critical race theory. While House Bill 3979 does not mention the term critical race theory, he and other supporters have spoken out against the academic movement, writing in measures banning key aspects of it. For example, teachers are not allowed to teach, quote, "The advent of slavery in the territory that is now the United States constituted the true founding of the United States." Education groups across the state have slammed this bill.
Why move forward with a bill like this? And despite these objections, I know, as far as I'm concerned, your background too is not in education. So why not listen to some of these associations?
We are listening we're listening specifically to the teachers. Critical race theory tells every little white child that you have white privilege, and you either admit that you have white privilege or that you're a racist, or we will label you a white supremacist.
Focusing blame on individuals is really not what the theory is about at all.
Cossie Huff is an assistant dean for undergraduate programs at the University of Texas and says Toth's explanation is wrong. Days after the bill passed, she co-wrote this op-ed explaining why schools need to teach critical race theory.
The whole purpose of critical race theory is to think about ways we can elevate voices of color and make sure that we're hearing voices that we haven't traditionally heard and dismantle systems of racism. We're really kind of doomed to just repeat the same mistakes. If you don't acknowledge and talk about then we're just going to leave the same voices out over and over again.
Ken Zarefis, the president of the Austin ISD Employees Union, agrees, saying the bill minimizes the impact of slavery on the country.
It's appalling, and it's heartbreaking as an educator to think that the legislature doesn't want people to hear truth. And that's all it is. It's about truth. Sometimes it's an ugly truth.
This bill also states teachers should not be compelled to discuss current events, and if they do, they must not show they support one side. Opponents of this provision specifically brought up the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol when fighting this. Additionally, students cannot get course credit for volunteering or working with a group associated with political activism or public policy advocacy. This would ban students from getting credit for working at places like the Boys and Girls Club or the Humane Society, among others.
The only thing that we're simply saying is that teachers should not proselytize when they're talking about current events. What we're simply saying is that don't weaponize our children. Don't use our children for your ends.
Zarefis taught for 12 years and says this bill makes it impossible for teachers to lawfully encourage civic engagement. He adds he would continue on with teaching all of this if in the shoes of teachers now, but knows that's easier said than done.
This will clearly have a chilling effect on teachers, afraid to teach what's truth. So it's going to be a process of teachers realizing that it's important that you listen to your students, not legislators.
How concerned are you for the school children of Texas?
I'm concerned whenever information is limited. This is a nation that was built on the back of enslaved people, and it's a racist foundation. Our kids need to understand that.
At the Texas Capitol, Christian Flores, CBS Austin News.